Hi, this is Keith from Stuff with Keith, and I just came out from the theaters watching Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. This is a spoiler-free movie review, so what do I think about it? You know how like in Star Wars Episode 4 where Luke piloted the X-Wing fighter and fired a torpedo into an exhaust chute that's about 2 meters wide down to the Death Star, and the whole Death Star exploded? Said Death Star exploded. Same, my mind. I love The Force Awakens. It's fantastic. You know, I think it's a worthy sequel to the Star Wars saga. The movie alone contains enough dogfights in space, dogfights in the skies. There are ground battles, there are lightsaber duels. There's even humor injected here and there, and you know the audience was just laughing at those moments. And the director paid a lot of homage to the old Star Wars films as well. Die-hard fans of the original trilogy, you know, you'll be able to spot many of these nods to the old stuff in this new movie. The theater I watched it in was filled with Star Wars fans, and so every time this moment came out, all of them were like, "Yay!" J. Abrams, the movie's director, really respected the past Star Wars films, and he carried on the traditions such as the mandatory beginning text crawl in space and the mandatory dialogue, "I have a bad feeling about this," appears at least once in the film. Graphically, the movie looks fantastic. You know, it's like they injected a lot of modern technology into the film, yet it still retains many of this old school tech from the episodes 4, 5 and 6. It's a sequel to episodes 4, 5 and 6, so naturally it has to have tech that is shown in that movie. But yet, you know, they managed to update it, and this movie is able to show it almost seamlessly, so you cannot really tell like, hey, that's like totally new technology, you know. Story-wise, they packed a lot into these 2 hours of Star Wars. They didn't skimp on any of the details, they didn't skimp on any of the story, no cliffhangers and all that. They really put in as much story as they could into these 2 hours, yet it didn't feel oversaturated. You know, after watching this movie, I really felt like, wow, that's a very satisfying watch, and there was no cliffhanger to really make me like, oh, you know, this movie, why did it end now? You know, it was a very good ending, and yet it makes me want to watch the next Star Wars film to continue the story. In the end, I left the theater with a very satisfied feeling. You know, this feels like a complete movie, yet this is part of a trilogy. So I feel content that the movie has ended this way, and yet I know there's more to come. So I won't lose sleep over those movies. The verdict: do I recommend you to watch Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens? Hell yeah! But if you have never watched the Star Wars films before, or your Star Wars knowledge is a little bit rusty, I recommend you watch the old episodes of 4, 5 and 6 first before watching Star Wars Episode 7. Watching the prequels 1, 2 and 3 is not necessary for this film. I know some of you hate it, I love the prequels as well, but you don't have to watch those to understand Episode 7. I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Jolene for inviting me to this Star Wars movie premiere to be one of the first few Singaporeans to catch The Force Awakens. Thank you so much. The Force Awakens is now out in theaters, so do catch it in the cinemas. Before I end off this movie review, I just want to say for the record, my hunch on the identity of Kylo Ren is 100% confirmed, spot on, correct, accurate to the minimum. This is Keith of Stuff with Keith, and I hope this quick movie review has convinced you to go and watch Star Wars The Force Awakens. Like you need convincing to go and watch such an awesome movie. I'll see you again on my channel. Bye!